One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR 20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com. One of our favorite sponsors is back. Have you ever listened to speed metal?
Out of a football?
That you got from Electric Fish Lights?
Shit. You can do that.
You can. You can totally do that. Go to electricfishlights.com or at electricfishlights on Instagram, and you will see exactly what we're talking about. Well, maybe not exactly, but you'll get the general gist, idea, and inkling of what we're talking about. Electric Fish Lights has these amazing lights that they make with IQ technology. IQ stands for interlocking quadrilateral. Say that like 15 times fast and you'll fall over. That is 30 interlocking pieces that can be configured into 15 different shapes. And when you add more pieces, the shapes are endless. So here's the deal. You go over to electricfishlights.com and you tell them what you want them to build, and they will do their best to make that materialize out of the ether into reality just for you. These lights are all made from upcycled vinyl like milk jug plastic, come with a 12-foot cord, 12-year energy efficient, safe to leave on LED light bulb, and a hardware kit to hang the light. And check this out. You can get a color changing upgrade on that bulb, and you can also get a speaker, so you can listen to speed metal out of a football.
You want the upgrade.
You want it.
Definitely want it.
So these can be used outdoors, and they're great for hanging as a nightlight or using in your studio where you record your podcast.
I use it in the spa, listening to Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Out of the sloth.
She does. And they're hooking up the No Simple Road family with a 10% discount. So when you check out, put in the promo code NSR. You're going to get 10% off. And any NSR family member that orders a light with the color changing upgrade will also receive a limited edition special promotional No Simple Road print that is some of my art. And John B., the owner of Electric Fish Lights, like made these really
looks
good
so
posters.
dope in the lights.
It's when you get that color changing upgrade and you put it on next to this poster, magical things are going to happen to your life. So go to electricfishlights.com or at electricfishlights on Instagram and get enlightened.
Hey, man.
Hey.
What's up?
What's up, Apple?
What's happening? Guess what? You know who another one of our awesome sponsors is?
Who?
It's Shop Tour Bus.
Head over to shoptourbus.com online or at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram. You know what? Check this out. What you want to do right now is grab the phone that you're listening to this on, or if you're at home, go to your computer, go to shoptourbus.com or at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram and take a look at what they're doing over there. These are Grateful Dead inspired t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, all kinds of amazing merch that is, artfully, intentionally, and wonderfully designed. And it's not your typical, you're not going to find a Steal Your Face on Shop Tour Bus. You're not going to find a Bolt on Shop Tour Bus. You're going to find, how would you describe a Shop Tour Bus design, Mel?
Just unique. It's like a wordsmith puzzle on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, there's no words, but
that's why I said puzzle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if you know the songs, then you'll get what the picture is trying to tell you, man.
Yeah, it's like hide and seek in plain sight.
Oh, shit.
And for a really good example of that, you need to go to their site and you need to check out the new one, Sugar Magnolia, which this is really cool. They released this in honor of their 7-year anniversary. So happy 7-year anniversary to Luke and Marcella.
What could be better than that? I'll tell you what could be better than that. When you order from Shop Tour Bus, your order is going to come in a hand-designed, one-of-a-kind box with a Grateful Dead lyric on the inside, a bunch of extra little trinkets and whatnots on the inside, and you're going to get a real live Grateful Dead cassette tape bootleg and a pencil to spool it with.
But wait, you know what else you're going to get?
What?
If you go and you put in the promo code...
I was really asking.
No Simple Road, you're going to get free shipping on your order.
Sure. So not only are you going to get some rad new design merchandise, but you're going to get a hand-designed box that nobody else on the planet is going to have. You're going to get a piece of archived Grateful Dead history at no extra cost. And if you put in the promo code No Simple Road, it's going to come to your house free of charge for the shipping. So go to shoptourbus.com online, or wait, what'd I say? Shoptourbus.com online, or at
ShopTourBus on Instagram.
Wow, fuck.
And if you go over there and check it out, you're going to get more than you bargained for.
Like I got just now.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Mel?
Tell us all about What's happening?
I'm telling you all about our damn fine Define Premium Cannabis sponsor.
We are sponsored by Define Premium Cannabis. They are one of our longtime supporters, and I'm going to tell you guys what. If you live in the Portland area, you know that it is essential to have good weed.
And we're lucky enough to have 2 locations in Oregon.
One in Hillsboro.
One in Forest Grove.
And either location, if you go in there and you tell them that you listen to No Simple Road, you're going to get 10% off your purchase.
10% off everybody.
And a free t-shirt. And if you go to the Hillsboro location Monday through Friday, Apple will come out of the back dressed as
it sounded like you said out of your butt.
I'll tend your butt.
He'll tend your butt, and he'll come out of the back room dressed like a Sufi mystic, and he will divine what product is right for your mental health. So go in there and check them out, man. Tell Apple that you said hi, and that the No Simple Road podcast is amazing, and that you're part of the family. You're going to get 10% off your purchase, free t-shirt, and take care of your head.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for Season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
No simple road, 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 no simple road.
Can't have you having strokes while we're trying to record.
No, it's sensitive right now.
You are. You're a
It's
sensitive little flower. Look at you.
So
you
hey
delicate
everybody, welcome
now.
welcome back to this new week.
Hey now.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Why
back.
you look all sneaky over there?
I'm sneaky. I feel sneaky right now.
Right?
So-
Okay, all right. Let me.
Is it sneaky when you say you're sneaky?
Right now is like the world is like weird times and everything, and up here I'm sure everybody out there has seen. Here on the West Coast, we got added on top of everything, like horrible forest fires. Like the whole West Coast is
Yeah.
on fire. So after what is it? It's been since Wednesday.
Tuesday
After
night
many
last week,
days of the smoke, we've all gotten a little
Loopy.
punchy and
Yeah.
loopy.
Yeah.
Like the silliness level has gone up with everybody, even like some of the most serious people I know when I'm at work and customer. Everybody's just kind of dopey and silly, which is kind of the fun
losing
part in
brain
it.
cells.
But yeah, it's like, how long can this happen before we just turn into idiocracy or something?
Before we get into all that, though, this week's guest is
Max Davies
from the Kitchen Dwellers. And I think that is the perfect person to have on the show this week, because I, for one, have been dwelling in the kitchen a lot
Yeah, you have.
during this funky, weird time that we're in.
You have.
But the Kitchen Dwellers have been on our radar for quite a while now, since just before Northwest String Summit last year. And we had an interview set up with them while we were there, and it didn't come through. And you'll hear the story about how that didn't happen here in the interview. But we've been really looking forward to talking to them. So I'm stoked to bring this to you guys this week. But what I was saying about being in the kitchen, I don't know about you guys out there, but it seemed, because I did the same thing when the quarantine started, like back in mid-March, early April, when all this shit started. I started baking, and that's like a stress response or something in my brain. I start wanting to make pastries and pies and cakes and bread and shit. And then the world caught on fire.
don't.
Yeah, no. And then
then there was also like holidays and like, well, not holidays, but birthdays and stuff. So it kind of like jump started that whole thing with like Simon's birthday,
Yeah.
Ryder's birthday.
But this week, like, we've literally been smoked in.
Yeah.
Not snowed in, smoked in. So
Not smoked out.
no,
Smoked,
no,
smoked in.
not smoked out. We've been smoked in. So just going outside for 5 minutes, your nose starts running, your eyes are burning, you start getting a headache. And I don't know, I just realized it, like, while we were sitting here, I have been baking my ass off since this started. I made that chocolate cake. I made chocolate soufflés last night.
He nailed a chocolate souffle last night.
So
it was amazing.
That is my favorite dessert I've ever eaten in my whole life, is chocolate souffle. Like, I've always loved that. And you always hear when you talk about baking that is like the hardest thing. Like, everybody's afraid to make a souffle. And it wasn't that hard, man. It wasn't that big of a deal. You just got to be careful, right?
You got to be dedicated, and you got to pay close attention. I love when I walked in the room and you're like, shh. You're like, don't make any noise, because you can. Like, if you bang something, it can make them all of a sudden go. I mean, it's still going to taste good, but it's not going to be the right consistency. And Aaron nailed it. That was a damn good souffle.
So I don't know what that is. Like, what do you think that is, the stress response to being snowed in or smoked in?
Moving energy. You got get bound up and you got to put it out. You got to get the energy out. You can't run, which is one of your stress reliefs.
Awful.
We can't walk the dog, which is another thing that we do. We can't go for a drive just to get out of the house. Like, there's nothing to do. And so sitting at a desk all day doesn't help to move the energy. So getting in the kitchen, moving around, washing dishes, baking, like using your brain a little bit, and then you get an awesome dope reward.
That's
at
how
the
I
end.
should say there's a tangible reward
Yeah.
at the end of it that you get to share with everybody in the house.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not just Aaron, but Melanie and Simon both. But you guys,
I
you guys,
made
the Schaefer
plum
family
coffee
bakes their
cake,
asses off.
with crumble, and then I made Ryder's birthday cake, which was a Neapolitan
That was bomb.
vanilla strawberry chocolate cake with
Jesus.
cookies and cream, ice cream, and whipped topping.
We're gonna come out of quarantine
As
like
a circus
900
tent.
pounds.
I'm still the same.
I'm gonna be
still
a
the
circus
same.
tent when this is all over. I can't run. I'm gonna wear a
What
circus
else?
tent.
Yeah, it's been nice to cook for fun, and yeah, it's just been really. It's great to get your mind off of something and create a little alchemy, you know.
Just an aside, guys. If you hear voices in the background, there is a really hardcore Dungeons and Dragons
No, I wouldn't say
sesh
hardcore.
going on
Yeah,
down
don't
in the
say that for
basement.
their benefit.
It's
Oh.
mid-core.
Yeah, okay. Mid-core Dungeons and Dragons sesh happening down in the basement right now. So if
You should be here with him, PJ.
Yeah, you should, PJ. We miss you. But back to the fire thing. Listen, I put out an episode on Monday. Is that today? Is today
Today's
Monday?
Monday.
Wow, where the hell am I? Was it
No
on
one
Friday?
knows. Friday.
Yeah, I put out an episode on Friday, and it was just me doing a heads talking. Apple and Mel were at work, and I just felt like I needed to speak something to the family, and I sat down in here and just let you guys know where it's at. And if you're interested, go give that a listen, and you'll hear what's going on inside my head right now. It's been a trip. This whole thing has really been a roller coaster of emotion, and I'll sum what I said up in that heads talking by saying everything's going to be all right, you guys. We're going to be okay. Everything's going to be cool. Just hang on. Just hang tight. It's going to be all right. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything comes to an end. So,
It's-
this will be over. We will look back on this, like you were saying. And
I mean, it does suck, but like certain days I'm like in the whole sucky mode, and then the other days I'm like, this is just what we have to go through. Like I was watching that Down to Earth show with Zac Efron, and he was in Puerto Rico, and living with hurricanes is a normal thing that they know about.
Right.
It's just a part of living on an island. It doesn't suck so much more. It's what is like, it's
Part of
what,
life.
yeah, it's part of life there.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm looking at this right now. And that's what's helping me get through when I'm getting funky. It's like, this is part of life for me right now. Anyone who's alive right now in this world, this is what this is about right now. So it doesn't suck more than 5 years ago. This is the same thing. It's
The
one
level
thing.
of suck has remained the same.
It's one thing. I think sometimes I know I do, like immediately it's all like, oh, so horrible, everything's so bad in the first feelings of it. But really when you step back, it's like, I mean, I'm grateful that we're safe, even though we live in Oregon and we're dealing with all these fires. I'm grateful that I'm not in Eugene. Like I'm
grateful I'm not in Detroit Lake.
Yeah, I just, everything that is horrible, I'm grateful I'm not doing. I'm that, and then my prayers go to whatever that, like my heart goes out to people in Malala and Canby and Oregon City and Estacada and everywhere that's been affected by those fires, and then
Vida.
beyond that, like Colorado and LA, my poor family in LA. So, and just it's what we're dealing with right now. It's not worse. It's not better. It's what we're dealing with. And it's not insensitive or sensitive. It's just kind of what I'm putting out there as something that helps me out.
I get
And
it.
something we're seeing that I brought up to you guys, and we're all starting to see it, is right now these fires are devastating. But something the other night I don't watch the news often, but I put on the news to see updates on the fire. The first 45 minutes of the 1 hour news was nothing but stories about the fire, updates, but so many of it was videos and stories of everybody coming together, of people going and helping people haul their livestock and animals to safety, and the donations that are pouring in. So like in the middle of all this other stuff going on in the country, when something emergency happens, fucking like usual, we fucking go into that mode where we take care of each other. And that has been happening up here like so much.
Yeah, the community of Oregon is pulling
it's
together.
beautiful to see in the middle of all this in the world and these fires. Everybody's still got each other's back, and the
Yeah.
love and support that is out there for one another, for humanity. It's fucking really reassuring to see stuff like that happening in the middle of all this.
Yeah, man, because we'll go crazy if we don't find those little morsels of something that's going to keep us believing in humanity.
Yeah.
You know, we need to feel proud of other people and being inspired by people's generosity and people's ability to act quickly, and it's amazing. So yeah, that's.
And I want to add one more thing
do
too
it.
about this is I work in the cannabis community, as you guys know on here.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah.
Where do you work,
And
Apple?
That,
Is
the
this a new
hour had to find premium cannabis, though. Right. But the last week and over the weekend and today, I brought my work phone home with me just to stay. Everybody, cannabis industry can be kind of tough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of product out there competing with each other. And sometimes it gets a little snippy and stuff. Same thing, though. All that shit was dropped to this. There's farms helping farms, people helping people. A lot of shit had to be evacuated. There are some farms that burned and this and that. But same thing. Everybody is just putting their shit to the side. They're helping each other out. I've been hearing just really great stories. And the communication. I spent this morning reading a lot of emails. Farms and processors are all sending emails to check in on everybody and give an update on how
That's
they're
rad.
doing.
That's really
So
cool.
the same thing. It's like the community just came together to support one another and keep the medicine coming to the people. So love to all you out there in the cannabis community, not just in Oregon, but everywhere.
Yeah, man, that's rad. Just making sure that the thing keeps happening so that people can get the medicine that they need. That's really cool. And
Absolutely.
and that thing that you're talking about, man, that being able to see the good happening and people coming together, and that right there keeps hope alive.
Absolutely.
Because the way things look, it's really easy to have a stark, bleak outlook on life and reality. And when I see those things, I'm like, oh yeah, human beings do have the capacity to be amazing creatures.
And maybe if we're busy being that person, that's how we'll see it.
That's how those lines get blurred. Like everybody is trying to draw these lines of segregate, whatever,
Yeah.
trying to draw lines, put everything in a box.
There ain't no
That
line.
just got wiped out by it's like we're all human.
Yeah,
And
you're
it's
on
an
fire. There's
emergency.
no line.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I don't help anybody that needs help.
Oh, what color are you? Then let me go out there. Like, no,
So-
we're
No,
on fire.
You're a human in need.
We need help.
Yeah.
So check this out, you guys. If you don't know who Chris Dyer is,
Oh my gosh.
we had him on the
Chris.
show a while back. He is a visionary artist at the level of an Alex Gray, and a really beautiful human being, and a guy that's just living his life in the open, being honest with who he is and sharing himself so that others can find inspiration and healing through his journey. And he posted a video 2 days ago after an ayahuasca ceremony, and it was the morning after, and he gave this really beautiful talk about what he went through and what he learned. And if you have the time, go check this out. Go find Chris Dyer, Dyer, on Instagram, and watch this video. It is a reminder of what I was saying in the Heads Talking and what I just said a minute ago about how everything's going to be all right. This universe, what we're experiencing as reality, your mind, your consciousness, the person sitting next to you, the table, your dog, the plant in your room, all your computer, the phone that you're listening to this on, is all contained within the body of God. All of that is part of this universal mind that's expressing itself out. And we are these expressions of that thing seeing itself. And there's nothing happening that's not inside that thing. It can look like it's all falling apart. There's all this fear and all this turmoil, but really it's inside of this really bigger thing that we don't even have the capacity to grasp with our dualistic minds. And so from our viewpoint, it can look like everything's falling apart, but in reality, every little thing is going to be all right, man. It really is just being reformed and reshaped, and it's okay. It really is. And at the end of the video, he said what's been on my mind this whole time. He said, we have to just let go and come back to love. And that's what I at the beginning of all this shit, I was like, whatever happened to love? Why isn't anybody talking about that? Like screaming that. And then all of a sudden, here comes our artist friend, Chris Dyer, saying, you know what? We just need to remember love. We need to let go and just trust that everything's going to be all right and do our things, keep creating, keep hope alive, keep love alive, and everything's going to work out all right, man. And it was a really cool reminder. So if you have a minute, go check that out. And also, if you need something for a little distraction from your day-to-day, if you are really missing the music, there's something really cool going on at Jambase. They launched this new video portal, and it's got a database of over 90,000 live music videos. It's huge, and it's got a tool inside of it that's got all these filters. You can filter by band, channel, song, event year, duration, type of video, and like it's got Fish, Grateful Dead, Ween, Humphreys McGee, Disco Biscuits, Widespread Panic, Dave Matthews Band, a whole bunch more. And then you can so let's say you're looking for videos of Fish performing Harry Hood in 2013. Or if you want to know about how bands lighting rig, or
how about if I want a 30-minute, shower
that
and I want
too.
to hear one dope
you can
filter it down.
So you select,
got a Jaboo 30 minutes.
There you go. You select the band, you set the date range, and you dig in by pressing play to watch the player or cue to start a playlist of videos, and you watch them just whenever you feel like it. It's badass. And pretty soon you'll be able to add your own videos. You can even suggest stuff to them. So if you guys want to check that out, it's a little distraction, a little immersion into the world of our music that we all love so much. You can go to jambase.com/videos and check that out. That is super cool, man. That to me is like a gem that came out of all of this, is stuff like that, like the live streams, that kind of stuff. I don't think we all would have had the time or the
inclination,
the bandwidth to be able to do shit like that. And what this quarantine has done is forced us to find different avenues for our creativity and our
do something
talent.
different with our time.
Yeah, man.
Spend our time differently than we used to.
It's rad to see stuff like that, and to be able to go in and find out how their lighting rig has evolved over time. Like, I want to watch Humphreys McGee's lighting rig.
I never really thought about that till you brought it. It's like, well, yeah, that would be interesting.
Or even think about Fish and their whole getup, man. That's badass.
Did they have a light show? I can't remember.
I had my eyes closed the whole show. I just remember that we should have been at Dick's a couple of weeks ago, but whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know what, man? Go over and watch the Chris Dyer video and just sit back and think about it for a little while, man. And it'll make your heart feel a little lighter. And we all need that right now.
His stuff makes your heart feel lighter.
Yeah.
He has such a way of non-preachy,
I love his voice. His voice is
impact.
one of my favorite voices I've ever heard.
He needs to do an audiobook.
It is so sincere, loving. His voice is amazing.
Yeah.
So, also another rad thing that came out of the quarantine is that
Baked goods.
well, that too.
Oh,
The
we already talked
the
about
cabin.
that.
What was it? The cabin session.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up towards.
Shabbat?
Okay, so we're working towards getting you towards the interview here. So we had a great talk with Max, and they did out in the middle of nowhere, and you can go to their Instagram and see like the cabin and stuff. In the middle of nowhere in Montana, they got together, the band and their crew, and they set up in this. I mean, it's a tiny cabin, and they set up and. One night they did a bunch of their stuff and other things.
Well, no, in the day they did their stuff.
In the day, and then at night they did the Pink Floyd tribute where they do Pigs on the Wing and some other stuff. You have to go watch this, especially if you're up here in Oregon, because they smoked out the cabin. We talk about
It
that.
looked hot
in this.
boxed. It did.
Yeah, and it is amazing the set that they do, and you'll hear about it's an homage kind of to. So they talk about it in the interview.
Yeah,
but
no
you got to see this. It's amazing.
Yeah, so that is another cool thing that came out of this. Those guys wouldn't have the time to do that. And then our worlds collided once again a couple of weeks ago. Andy Frasco and the Kitchen Dwellers played some shows together.
I
And,
think Mahali was involved in
and
that
Mahali
too.
was there too, man. So all NSR alumni getting together and
Whoop-de-whoop.
bringing the music to the people once again. It is coming back. I am seeing slowly but surely shows being announced.
Frasco's got
and
one in
stuff
Red
happening.
Rocks.
Yeah, so stuff is happening. It's
Yeah, Billy Strings just did a really cool.
Drive-through?
And yeah,
yeah, man. It's coming back, guys. So just hold tight.
And the Higgs, weren't the Higgs going to do something? They posted something.
I didn't see it.
Okay, I'm
but
sorry.
It's coming back. So just hang in there, man. And speaking of coming back, we're gonna get you to the interview, but we're gonna do the business. So you know what? Something I don't do very often, and I am remiss. You guys need to go check out Eagle's Nest Outfitters. They are dope as shit. They, at the end of festival season, they hooked No Simple Road up with hammocks and chairs and a banner for this festival season, and we never got the chance to use any of the stuff yet.
we use it at home
Yeah,
all the
man.
time, but we were
We're super grateful to Eno for what they
Eno,
Oh,
did, man.
Eagle's
And
Nest
that was super
we
Outfitters.
can't
cool,
wait to
guys.
get out there. We can't wait to see you guys at String Summit again.
Oh, yeah.
That we were planning on that this year, but
And just how generous. They were so generous with us.
I know.
And the
called them
sweetest
up. They
people
were just
that
like,
work
yeah,
for
what do you
them."
need? Yeah, we'll send you stuff. No problem. Okay. And now we've not got the chance to rep them, but here they are. And you know what, you guys, speaking of repping, if you want to get yourself some No Simple Road merch, go over to www.nosimpleroad.com, go to the top of the page, click on the word gear, and you will find a bunch of No Simple Road merch. There's some t-shirts up there. There are ladies'
I
Racerback
love my
tees.
Racerback tee.
There are
Perfectly placed.
neck gaiters, a la face masks, a la headbands, a la wrist covers. You could use it to cover your cat. I don't know. There's those up
You
there.
cut
the
some
face
eyeballs
cover things are awesome. I can't wait till ours get here.
They ship.
They're so dope. We ordered our own merch.
And the weather is starting to cool off. The weather's starting to
Hoodie
get rough.
weather.
So it is hoodie weather. There's hoodies up there and all kinds of stuff. So go check out coffee cups. So go check out the store over at nosimpleroad.com, man. You can hook yourself up. And thanks to all the people that have done that lately, man. You guys are fucking rad. I appreciate it. That is super cool. I love when those come in and I see that and it just like my heart gets a little warm. It's not like we make a ton of dough off that stuff. I just like knowing that it's out there and that it's
Yeah.
keeping you
People
warm.
the people want it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
it right
That's
there.
right.
Thank you, peoples.
And if you want to do something really cool for the No Simple Road family, go to patreon.com/No Simple Road. That is our Chandonator family. That are the people that are making sure that we can
Chandonators.
bring you these interviews every week, these conversations that we love so much and that we love giving to you guys as our gift of our creativity, time, and talent. So if you want to give us the mental space and freedom to continue doing this, then you can sign up over at Patreon. You can give as little as $1 a month or as much as you want, and that's patreon.com/No Simple Road. And if you want to do something that doesn't cost anything, you can go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. We haven't got a new review.
No,
for
I
this
checked.
week.
There is no new one this week, but that just means that a bunch are coming in next week,
That's
right,
right.
guys?
That's right. You're
Go
the
on
one.
there and do that.
Do it, man. And when you're posting on Instagram. Use the hashtag No Simple Road so we could see your stuff and we can repost it into our story and all that. And if you want to call in with a cool story or just say hi, you can call the Tepid line at 971-808-1524. That number again,
971-808-1524.
That's 971-808-1524. Call now. Operators on. What do you say? What do they say? Operators standing by.
Operators are standing
They're
by.
not standing by. They're laying down. Anyway, you know what?
What?
We should get them to an interview.
Kitchen
With
dwellers,
Max,
maybe?
with the kitchen dwellers.
Cat dwellers?
Cat dwellers.
Thanks for taking the
Max.
time and hanging out with us and giving us a really awesome interview and conversation. And
We can't wait to see you live
we look
again.
forward to seeing
You guys
live
rocked our socks
again.
off last year at String Summit.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. When we see you guys live in person next time, we would like to talk to the entire band.
Yeah.
All of you guys at once,
Let's get all the
backstage
guys
somewhere.
on.
Yeah, so that we can get the full story of how you've dwelt in kitchens. And that's where I've been dwelling lately. Anyway, so stretch your toes, crack your knuckles,
Take a deep
brush your
breath.
hair, comb your teeth, get ready for an interview. And without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Max Davies.
from the Kitchen Dwellers. All fussy and discombobulated.
Fuss budget?
Fuss budget.
Don't call me a fuss budget, Melanie.
Fuss budget?
All right.
All right.
We're going to call Max from
Darwin.
the Kitchen
Darwin
Dwellers.
settled. Hold on. Darwin. Okay. Darwin settled.
All right.
Yeah.
Is he?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm chilling. Guys, go for it. Cool. Thanks, Darwin. All right, let's call Max.
Max.
Do it. Hold
Where are you, Max?
Keep calling.
We're calling you.
Hello, Max.
It's ringing. We've got ringage.
Hello?
Max,
Hey, is this Aaron?
this is me.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm all right, brother. Hang on a second. Let me situate myself. Here we go. There.
Oh my goodness.
What's happening, man? The other two that are here, let them introduce themselves too.
Welcome to the show, Max. This is Mel.
Hey, Mel.
How you doing today? What's going on?
I'm good. Oh, not too much. I'm in Illinois, just enjoying a Sunday kind of afternoon. So yeah, I'm a couple hours after you guys.
Right on.
Into the evening.
All right, and then we have one more.
Yep. Then you have this is the third one. This is Apple, and thank you for joining us, man. We've been trying to catch up with you guys for a little bit. We met you at String Summit last year, and
Oh, right on.
yeah, we kind of crossed paths. We're supposed to do an interview with Torin, which everybody was just having a really, really good time there, and that didn't happen.
Things like that tend to happen at String Summit. I mean, we've made plans with people before, and then all of a sudden it's like we don't have service, we don't know where anybody is, everyone's out having a good time, so it can be tricky to meet up.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, being at a thing like that. It just do what happens.
We saw it. Me and him saw each other on the in the bowl, and he walked up to me with saucer-filled eyes and was like, "Can we do this later?" It's like, "No problem, man."
Oh, I can't say that is very surprising to hear.
That's okay. Yeah, it's all good,
So
man.
do us a favor.
Before I just
we're very excited to be talking to you, but for our listener, I mean, most of them know who you are and who you're with. But if you'd introduce yourself and tell the people who you are.
Yeah, sure thing. So my name is Max Davies, and I play guitar in a string band, bluegrass band called Kitchen Dwellers.
Well, thanks for coming on No Simple Road, Max. I appreciate it, brother. And like I said, like Apple said, it's been a long time coming, and I'm glad we're finally sitting down to chat, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
It's a fucking weird time, Max. What do we do, man? Tell me what to do with the rest of my life, because I don't know at this point.
I think we are all trying to figure it out ourselves. It's a wild time. I'm back with some family right now, and just been seeing some friends, and yeah, everyone's kind of in the same boat. Everyone's kind of going through a lot of transition phases in their lives, and just one day at a time.
Yeah, and you guys like
you've managed to stay busy.
Yeah.
You've managed to stay busy.
We definitely have stayed busy.
That was amazing, man. The 2 nights we were just out again jamming on. I was showing Melanie the second night with the Pink Floyd, where you had the eerie setting, doing the Pink Floyd and everything. That had to have been amazing. You guys packed in that little cabin with the sound that you guys produce.
Yeah, that was really fun. We've definitely managed to, just try to really not take the foot off the gas too much. It's been nice just because we've been able to do different things, like the cabin set. Usually we'd just be kind of road dog, and that's what we've been doing for 5 years or so, more really. But so yeah, it's been fun to do something different creatively, like the idea of the cabin set. That was out in the woods in Montana, and our friend has this property out there, and he has this cabin. He's been trying to get us to go out there for a while, and this whole thing came up with the Reheated thing. So I guess for people that don't know, we do this was our second installment of this series called Reheated. So we choose one of our favorite bands, and we kind of try to put our own twist on it. So for this last one, we did Pink Floyd, and we're all huge Pink Floyd fans. And so we were thinking, well, we should try to recreate their Live at Pompeii video. So we just kind of had this idea to go out to a cabin and play a show to nobody. And yeah, so on that second night, we got to play a bunch of the Floyd tunes and get crazy lights, and just it was a good time. We worked on it with a bunch of friends that were up there filming, so we actually camped out right behind the cabin, and that was nice because it kind of fulfilled some festival, some needed festival vibes.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And then Aaron, are you going to ask him the question, Aaron?
what?
But we're wondering,
was it a smoke machine or was that room hotboxed?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, the vibe of that thing. So I didn't know that it was a video, right? And so this morning, it's 6:00 this morning. Cool weather outside. There's a school next to our house that has a running track, and I go running over there. So you got to picture it's kind of dawn. And the birds are chirping. It's kind of wet outside. I'm walking through the forest, listening to Welcome to the Machine from you guys. And just the vibe of it was so perfect for the moment. It created this whole trip in my head, made me have a great run. So thanks, man. And then I came home and Apple was like, have you seen the video of them doing Pink Floyd? I was like, holy shit. I was just running to that and saw it.
Oh, wow.
It's so eerie. That the look of the difference between the daytime and the nighttime was so drastic. And
so
the vibe
so
in it was
different.
crazy, man.
well, when you say in your code trying to kind of capture the Pompeii, that makes sense now with the way they did that. That's awesome.
Hey Max, hang on one second, man. I forgot to do something before we started, and I'm getting echo in my room. It's driving me out of my mind. Hang on 1 second, okay?
Oh, yeah, no worries.
It's driving me nuts, man.
Yeah, that's why he's the editor and the conductor. I'm like, I don't hear the echo.
So, are all three of you together?
We live up here. We're in Portland, Oregon, and Aaron and me have been best friends since we were 12 years old. I'm 51 now. He's 48. And then Melanie is Aaron's wife. They've been together going on 23 years here soon.
Yeah, November.
And we all moved up here together 4 years ago. Most of our lives lived in Las Vegas, a whole different world, and we decided to get to Pacific Northwest and enjoy the beauty and get to a place where stuff like String Summit happens and stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
yeah,
back.
we love the Northwest. That's such a good part of the country, and yeah, it's probably a little bit different than Vegas.
Yeah, much like a different planet.
Totally different. It's so trippy, man. And I wonder if you've experienced this being on the road. So you said, are you from Illinois or are you living there?
I grew up in Illinois. I moved out to Montana when I was 18 and I've lived some other places, but more or less have lived in Montana for the better part of a decade. Yeah.
Okay. So like growing up and living in Vegas, I never felt at home there. And we came on vacation up here one year for New Year's Eve, just out of the blue. And when I got back to Vegas, I was telling Mel, like, I felt more at home there than I do at home. I think we need to move.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that when you're traveling around and you go to a city that you've never been to before and you just like feel comfortable at home?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. There are some places that we go to that I just feel so comfortable there. And yeah, I can't, like, the next time we're there, I'm just like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot that this place really gels with just how I am. And yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of why the guys in the band, we all ended up in Montana, is just because we, feel pretty at home there. So, similar mountain towns like Asheville, North Carolina, definitely in the Northwest. Our time spent in Oregon and Washington, we definitely love touring up there. So, yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
It's a trip to think about that a place can have that kind of effect on you. And so thinking about that, I wanted to ask you about bluegrass, because the stuff that you guys will cover and the influences that you have, are kind of the same stuff that we listen to. And how did it end up being a bluegrass band? Was it just because of the instruments that you guys all played that's what happened, or was it something different?
It was definitely kind of a conglomeration of a lot of things. I mean, I grew up listening to Pink Floyd. I mean, I listened to Pink Floyd every day for years. That I think my parents eventually were like, you got a weird obsession with the band. I mean, same, same with the Dead. It's like I was a rock and roll kid. And then, yeah, moved to Montana, and everyone there was playing bluegrass instruments. All the jams at school were kind of focused around bluegrass instruments. It was just easier to get together with people with acoustic instruments. We didn't really have a space to fit everybody with drums and all that. And yeah, so everyone kind of comes from a similarly different background. Joe, the bass player, is very into like electronic music. Torin listens to a lot of like punk and metal. And Swain, our mandolin player, grew up on metal, and he's probably the most bluegrass head guy in the band. But we all share like the same love for just live music, which I think is made it work. We all realize that we're coming from different backgrounds, but we're just trying to do something that has a similar thread throughout the whole thing. And so I guess the bluegrass, at least for me, acoustic music, I really didn't start diving deep into it until I moved to Montana. I was a fan. I grew up listening to like Bela Fleck and a little bit of Del McCurry, but didn't really get deep into the whole world until I moved out to Montana.
Wow. That's cool, man. And something that I didn't realize until we went to String Summit actually is the similarity between electronic music and bluegrass.
Yeah, seeing it live really opened our eyes.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I love playing in our band, is because Joe, who's on bass, he's our electronic guy. So he's just kind of, he plays, like, I'll listen back to stuff and he'll play stuff rhythmically that it's so foreign to me that I just love it. And just the whole, String Summit, the late night scene. It's definitely got an electronic feeling at times.
Yeah. And, in listening to that stuff, especially, okay, so bluegrass music is one of those styles of music that, like, not only is there a lot of folklore around it, but there's also like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like standard. There's like old school bluegrass guys, and then there's like camps of
it's a steep tradition.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, tradition. And the guys I that we've talked to that don't play traditional bluegrass get shit from the guys that play traditional bluegrass. Have you run up against that in that scene?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because that's the thing. Most of our guys are like self-taught. I've had the same feelings from playing with some bluegrass musicians that, you know, I have with meeting like a classical musician. It's like, it needs to be played perfectly. It needs to mirror, you know, the people that created the music. And so, yeah, there's kind of been this weird, I think it's a great shift, you know, because bluegrass music it's an American, you know, art form. And so in itself, it should be shifting and changing. Chris Pandolfi, the banjo player from the infamous String Dusters, he wrote this really cool article that was like kind of just addressing all of that, like how it shouldn't be so rigid, and it should evolve and change. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Where would you see it like evolving and changing the way that you guys play?
Well, so we use a good amount of effects pedals because of kind of all the influences that we've already talked about. But, you know, I mean, standard traditional bluegrass music does not have effects pedals. And yeah, we have parts of our songs where we go on extended jams, but that is also a part of bluegrass music. You know, they did have parts where they would just like let someone, you know, rip over some parts of the song. So yeah, I would say probably the effects are the biggest, the biggest difference or change.
So when things aren't all fucked up and upside down with the pandemic, and you're touring and on the road, and you know fans are coming to see a Kitchen Dweller show, like, what's your hope for people that are coming to see you before all this happened? What do you want the fan or the listener to get from coming to see you guys play?
That's a great question. We really just kind of want everyone to come to the show, feel like they can let loose and have a great time, kind of any way they want to, you know. I never want someone to come to a show feeling like, oh, I have to be a certain way or do a certain thing. Like, we just want it to be a super open, fun, you know, joyous time.
Right.
And I definitely have had those moments where it's like, I'm just looking out and everyone is just having such a great time. And it's like, this is exactly why we do it. Really
rad.
Yeah, like, you know, we don't have high expectations. We just want to make sure that by the end of the night, we've hopefully played as hard as we possibly can. Everyone is leaving happy and, you know, got what they wanted out of coming to the show.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. And do you think that thing will change? So that's why I asked, like, before all this happened. The question was loaded. So do you think that'll change now that when we come out of this and we're back seeing stuff again?
Yeah, I think the kind of like the coming to a show and the safety thing is going to maybe look a little bit different.
You mean physical?
We got a barking dog over here.
It's cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
Physical space is what you're talking about.
I think so. I think people are going to be a little more conscious of it. And one of the things that I've enjoyed about, I shouldn't say enjoyed, but something that I've just noticed and kind of been grateful for is that, you know, when this all started, we did these Zoom parties, and it was nice to see people coming onto the Zoom parties that probably wouldn't come to a show because either it's too late at night or they don't feel comfortable around other people. So,
So
I think maybe when...
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can
Yeah,
reach
I
a
think when we
different
come back,
audience.
I mean-
I didn't think of that through all this. I guess a lot of people that can't make it to shows are able to catch a lot more music right now with the streams.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different experience, but it's still exposing them to maybe music that they weren't aware of before. So maybe we'll see some of those people out at shows after this all. Maybe the shows will be streamed and people can kind of keep enjoying it. But yeah, I mean, your guess is as good as mine at this point.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. It is a daily thing of like a thought process that happens with me lately is like, are we coming out of this? Are we going to be in this for another 10 years? Like, where are we going? Where am I? What day is it? It's fucking hard, man. And I mean, for us, so we're 3 years into the show, right? And this summer that is happening right now was like our breakout summer. Like, we were the official podcast of Northwest String Summit. We were the official podcast of Skull and Roses Festival. We were working on Hog Farm Hangout, like
Lock-in, possibly.
Lock-in. Yeah, all this shit was happening, and then we got shit on with COVID. And the traveling that we did, all that stopped. Like, everything stopped. And it's a serious, trippy, difficult adjustment for us, right? And so I can't imagine, you said 5 years you guys have been on the road, the adjustment for you of just everything coming to a halt. How did you handle it?
At first it was all the obvious horrible nature of what's going on. At first it was a welcome break from the road.
Mm-hmm.
It was the longest any of us had ever been home in a very long time. So I mean, I think everybody at first was like, oh, this is really great, we can kind of sort of get into a natural rhythm of just day-to-day life, because we were doing all these Zoom shows from home, so it felt like we were kind of still on tour, but just from our own town.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just talking to my friends and people that have either, their work life has changed dramatically too. It's just, it hasn't been easy. But I think a lot of people are definitely trying to find some silver lining. The people that I really kind of feel bad for, that I think about often, are like young kids that are either, in high school or like going into college, or even younger kids in elementary schools. Like, that's kind of who I think about the most right now.
Yeah. Dude, Mel and I have a 18-year-old son that was a senior last year. So no prom.
This year.
This year. So no prom, no nothing for him. Like, just fuck you, you're an adult now. That's. I mean,
I like it makes me so sad that that's their reality.
Right.
They're gonna grow. They're growing up in a different way.
Yeah, but you know what though, man? Like, one of the things that I think about, that you talk about being grateful for stuff through this. One of the things that I'm grateful for is the way that the music community and the artists that we talk to and know have responded to this thing. And
with creativity.
That's what the creation hasn't stopped. It's actually like the pedal has been pushed even harder than it was prior. And I think that there's a lot of healing that's going to come out of the art that's created right now for those kids and us, man. I mean, that's the goal of art, is to reflect the world in a different kind of a way. So how can it not? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be some really great stuff that comes out of this, I think, in that regard.
Yeah. Have you guys, did I see that you're doing drive-in shows? Yeah,
we did one down in Fort Collins with our good friends band, the Magic Beans.
Oh yeah.
And then we're doing two over Labor Day weekend in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Wow.
So that's gonna be fun. And I think that's with the guys from Leftover Salmon and Tyler Grant. I'm really looking forward to those.
Tell me about that experience, man, because I'm 50-50 on
it's hard
it.
to
Help
picture.
me out.
Honestly, it was so cool. It was just so good to play in front of people. It was kind of a trip because everyone's so far away, and like the cars didn't start, and so they were pretty far back. And but like at night, I mean, all people busted out in the hula hoops, and everybody was dancing next to their car. I mean, it felt so good just to see people dancing, and it was kind of crazy because after we played, we talked to a lot of people that were there, and they were like, I didn't realize how much I missed it. This is what they were saying. They were like, we didn't realize really how much we missed it, how much we needed it. And it was just, everybody was super happy. And, so yeah, that one was kind of interesting because there could be no on stage noise because it was butted up against the neighborhood. So they couldn't have any on stage noise. So like even the drum for the other band, the drum kit they brought in had to be, like a drum pad, like an electronic drum machine.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so I have these really funny videos of like their whole band just rocking out, but the stage is completely silent. Yeah, but I think this, yeah,
dude.
And there's no PA, so like everyone's just listening to it from their car speaker. It was different, but that's,
But
that's
still,
what we got to do right now.
People danced and were able to get out.
Yes.
And okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And for you guys, so then everything is in ears at that point, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It's like
So even
silent
like the other
disco.
band, maybe some of the members. Yeah. We heard that a lot. People were like, "Oh, this is kind of like a silent disco."
Whoa.
Bro.
So Max, what is it like? Why did you guys decide to like we're gonna go play wherever we can, whatever? Like, what was it for you guys that are like, we're just gonna keep going? Because some musicians are like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna wait till it's safe, or whatever the story is, or maybe they just can't get everybody together. But why'd you guys decide like, yeah, we're gonna keep going?
Fuck it.
Yeah. So we're definitely fortunate that we all live close by to one another.
Yeah.
So we've still been able to get together. It's a lot of our friends' bands. People may live in different parts of the country. So we've been just lucky in that way. And, we need to make a living. So
Yeah.
Money.
Seriously?
it's kind of like we,
Necessity?
it's either, yes, it was definitely a little bit of necessity, which is, that's why we do it.
Yeah,
It's
man.
great. And, but so the one in Fort Collins, for instance, we usually play this festival called Beanstalk, and it's the Magic Beans Festival down in Colorado. And it was mostly, I got to give it to those guys. They jumped on it and they were like, well, if we can't do the festival, we got to do something. And so they put together the drive-in show, and we were like, yeah, absolutely, we'll do it.
Right on.
So, yeah, it's just kind of, it's us knowing them, and everyone's just kind of trying to work our way through it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's a trip to me to see. Like, I remember, like maybe 4 days after quarantine started, like when they came out with the order of like stay home, I posted a video and I was like, okay, this is the time when the musical community can shine. Like this is when we all come together and we have the opportunity to do something really awesome right now. And I'm really excited to see what comes out of all of this. So now flash forward 5.5 months later, we're figuring it out, man. I mean, it doesn't look like it did before, and that's cool, whatever. Nothing ever does. Life changes, shit morphs, whatever. But we are figuring it out. And for you guys, it's like you said, you do it not for the money, like that's obviously you do it for a living, but it's who you are. And
Yeah.
can you imagine yourself doing anything else, Max? Like seriously?
At the moment, definitely not. I mean, this is we've committed to it. We're, the guys in the band, where it's like we're sort of blood brothers at the moment, and it's we're just you got to stay committed.
Yeah, and it's cool to see us all finding our way and figuring it out and coming through this thing. And is is there something that you guys are working on through this other than the shows? Or have you been writing any new music or working on anything that's getting ready to come out or anything like that?
Yeah, so everybody's got, it sounds, we've been talking a lot, and everybody has the material. Right now we're trying to figure out a space to go, just kind of hash through it all. And so we've tossed around going back up to the cabin where we did the Pink Floyd cabin sets, going back up there and kind of rehearsing and writing. Cause I think everyone's feeling like they need to get some music out, and it would be great to do that. We're looking forward to doing that. We're working on this project that would basically probably wouldn't come out until the fall, but and I'm not really sure how much I am in air quotes allowed to talk about it, but it'd be cool. It'd be more of a video thing. And so that's a project that we're working on right now. But I think everybody's definitely feeling the need to kind of get some more new music out there. Yeah.
You talk. Go ahead, Apple.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah. So I mean, obviously the juices are flowing and everything. This was going to take it off track unless you had.
I do have something I wanted to add.
Go ahead, then I'll bring it back to this.
All right. You talk about like the need to get music out, and that's not something that I don't wake up with that. The things that are happening in the world don't move me to make music. They move me to do other shit. For you, man, like, how did you figure that out? That the things that in life and whatever inside of you were moving you to make music. How did that happen?
So I've always kind of thought that I had a little bit of a different, I guess, reason for doing it. I see people, and it's like, and that just need to play and produce music is very instilled in them. But I think for me, like, the reason that I do it is just because music has had such a huge impact on my life. I mean, I've just, ever since I was a kid, it was like I was kind of gravitated towards it, and it's helped me through a lot of different times in my life, and it takes me to a different place. And this is all just like growing up. It was listening to it before I even started really diving in and playing. And it's almost like I do it out of I am so appreciative of what music has done for me. I do it so that I can hopefully maybe give a little of that back, just kind of like give it back to wherever it comes from. So it's a little, I don't know. I've always felt that weird way about it.
I don't think that's weird. I get it.
Like a calling.
Yeah.
And music is life too. I mean, it is life.
And
yeah,
is it a trip to realize, I've asked a couple of people this, and I've gotten different answers, but like, as music fans, before you started playing, we've all had experiences at shows that are otherworldly or whatever, and we realize that the music is bigger than just music, and for what it's worth. And for a musician, there's got to come a time when, like, you're standing on the stage making music and you realize, oh shit, I'm the one that's doing that thing that I loved so much that now I'm the person giving it out. Have you ever like come to grips with that and thought about that?
I mean, I hope that that's a possibility. That's what's happening.
Right on.
I
get it. Yeah.
I look at people's faces, and when they're very, very, they're having a moment or whatever, it's like, it's very, it just feels really, really good. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that we're able to achieve that at times. And yeah, it's definitely, it's just a great feeling. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Apple?
Oh, what I was going to say, just a little bit more about us too, that we recently, like I said, we moved up here 4 years ago, and we really were not bluegrass fans. We weren't like, not, like, oh, I don't like bluegrass. But since we moved up here, there's a lot more bluegrass that comes to this area. And last year at String Summit, like Aaron said, we realized seeing you guys, and I mean, that was such a great bill. Everybody was there and just nonstop music. We realized, I remember Mel saying it too, we realized how fun and easy it is to dance to bluegrass. I mean,
my gosh.
you can just party
Yeah.
your ass off to bluegrass, and everybody's doing it. Like even at like some Dead shows and, you know, like Dead and Company and stuff, you see some people aren't that into it, but like at String Summit, it was 100% participation of everybody that was there, and it blew our minds. And seeing you guys, just amazing. And then the other thing that goes along with that is we're laughing. We still do it once in a while. You can do a cover of any song ever written and do it in a bluegrass cover, and it works. Like this morning, I just found a video was showing Melanie and Aaron of you guys on the street corner, like doing Raspberry Beret by Prince, and it worked. It was freaking awesome. It just translates so well.
It has that it's like the driving beat that you just can't help but move your feet to it.
Yeah, just shuffling and if you can't move your butt, then your butt's broken.
Who picks the covers, Max? Is it a family affair, or is there one of you guys that's like, let's try doing this one, and then, you know?
Well, everyone kind of has their own ones that we've picked and we've worked on, and that's the thing that I enjoy about our band is that everyone seems to be very open to trying a cover. Like, you know, Torin will bring like this Bouncing Souls cover that we do, that, you know, it's a song that I had never heard before, and it just works, and people that know that song love that song. And yeah, everyone throws covers into the mix. I mean, we were playing Whipping Post back there for a while. We've been playing Lettuce song for Joe, and Swain. Swain is, you know, he knows so much about bluegrass that he tends to bring more of like the bluegrass covers to the table. So it's a healthy mix. It's definitely a democratic thing.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. And I want to go back to something that you talked about at the very beginning of our conversation. And you mentioned like Pink Floyd having a big influence on you when you were younger and how you listened to it all the time. And you know, a lot of us in the scene, the Grateful Dead and Fish were that for us. And, you know, I get it. But for you, man, what was it about them that drew you the way it did and hit you the way it did?
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
Just their music sonically, it was, when I would listen to it, every single time I would listen to it, I would hear something new. And I was listening to the same recording, you know, because I think they're in the studio. They had the sounds they could get out of the studio were just unlike anything that I'd heard, and I couldn't even pinpoint what instrument was making that noise. And it was like every time I listened to it, I could just hear something new, and it was just, you know, blew me away. It just transported me. And just like, I mean, the Dead and Fish definitely, you know, the same, and it's super guitar driven. I've always been gravitated towards the guitar, and just the noises that they could make. I think that's what kind of drew me to it.
I have a memory of being like 19 years old and laying on my stomach in an apartment in Vegas on acid, listening to Dark Side of the Moon and like really hearing it for the first time and being like, Jesus Christ, there's nothing like this. Like, that's why I asked you that question, because of that. That made me think of that moment. And there's those moments that stick with you like that with music, dude. That's a trip to me that, like, your life is filled with thousands and millions of little vignette memories in your head, but music does something special for people that like creates these watercolor paintings in our minds of moments. And that, I think, is the live music experience. At least for me, like those shows are mountaintop moments. Is it like that when you're on the stage too? Like, do you look back on the body of work that you've done, and that's like a mountaintop experience for you?
Yeah, I it's funny because when we're playing it, I can't I wouldn't be able to necessarily pinpoint a moment musically, but I could definitely pinpoint maybe the way that we were feeling that day or the type of gig it was. So it's the same thing, but instead of being the listener and listening to a piece of music and it's transporting you back to maybe a certain time when you're listening to it a lot, it's kind of, I can think back to where we were and how we were feeling as a band as opposed to the actual music that we were playing. Wow. So, yeah, just I guess different.
And there's a brotherhood in that too. I mean, my memory is a solo thing, but your memory is with your bros, your band.
Yeah.
And there is something peculiar and unique to bluegrass music that is created when you guys get together and play. I don't know if it's because there's no drummer or it's all string instruments. I don't know what the reason is, but there's a spirit in bluegrass music that doesn't exist in any other genre, style, or way of playing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I suppose. I mean, the thing that makes me think about is since we don't have a drummer, we tend to speed up and slow down in ways that it's difficult to do with a drummer. You know, a drummer they're trained to keep rhythm and keep time steady, whereas we tend to like shift as a unit. We kind of swell up, and somebody recently was talking about like lilting a little bit, and so we kind of, I think that's the thing that you can do with bluegrass, because it's just, you know, it's all acoustic instruments and we're not exactly adhered to, okay, the whole entire song needs to be this speed. I mean, you can do that with drums too, like other, you know, the Dead and Fish do that a lot. But I think that's one thing that is, you know, you can definitely achieve with bluegrass instrumentation.
A little different freedom there.
Right.
Yeah. I read an article recently, or part of an article with Trey, and he was talking about Fishman's drumming, and he said the reason that we can do what we do is because we're following Fishman, and Fishman will sometimes slow down and speed up, and we all go with him, and that that creates the jam. And I never thought of that before. Like, that is what does create the jam. That's what brings the music into different sonic spaces, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things I've ever heard Trey say was when he was talking about Fishman. He was like, Fishman is my favorite drummer because he's one of the few people that actually plays the drums as an instrument, as opposed to just keeping time or fulfilling a certain part of the song. I mean, he's playing the drums with feeling, which I just love that. Wow. And I totally agreed with it.
Yeah. And there's a synergy that is created with the band members that isn't found anywhere else. And that seems to me like one of the, even more than talent, the important part of being in a band is having the right guys together. Like, there's a certain mix. So like with you guys, how did it start? How did Kitchen Dwellers begin and like get going?
Yeah, so I joined the band probably like 6 years ago. The band was started in college. I think Torin and Swain, or maybe it was Swain and Joe, but they met like their first day in college, freshman year, first class, and they were like, "Hey, you want to be in a band?" The other guy was like, "Yeah, sure."
Wow.
Yeah, and so it was started their freshman year in college, and I'm a couple years older than them, so I was moving away from Montana, kind of as they were getting going, and so they started just playing in kitchens, playing open mics, and playing around our hometown, Bozeman, and they just kind of started hitting the road from there, and they did the Telluride band competition a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had moved back to Montana and was in a bluegrass band, and we opened for them a bunch, and there are so many intersecting lines. I mean, the guys that I grew up with in my hometown in Illinois, we both moved out to Montana, and we were the two kids sitting in the basement all night in high school just playing music. And he was actually in their band. He played fiddle with them for a while. So it's just, there were like all these intersecting lines. And it just kind of was meant to be. And when 6 years ago, their guitar player left, and I was like, absolutely, I will join you guys.
I will definitely step in.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a mix of guys that gel together, man. And when you all get up there on the stage, there's something magic that happens, bro. That you guys blew our minds when we saw you. Like it was really special, dude. And so thanks for that. It was really cool to watch what you do. And I, like Apple was saying, I wasn't a huge bluegrass fan. Like he said, I didn't dislike it. I just wasn't into it. Didn't know about it.
We hadn't been taught yet.
And seeing what you guys do, I didn't know it was possible. Like, I didn't understand that you could take bluegrass in that direction. And is that, like you were saying to Mel, like, I think the thing that we do differently sonically with our stuff is the effects and whatnot. I guess that's just part of who you are, right? I mean, you bring your influences along with you, and wanting the art form to expand and grow, you just naturally do that thing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where we've just agreed that this is the type of band we are, and everyone's going to bring whatever moves them, their influence. They're going to play what they're going to play, and we're just not trying to really exist inside of one box.
It's really cool, man.
Bluegrass is doing a great, because we all are kind of tired of that genre thing. Like, quit putting everything in a box. Well, we got to label it.
Just music.
But bluegrass has some of the best new breakoff genres, like you guys with Galaxy Grass, and then Jam Grass, and
Trash
Grass.
Oh yeah, the Rumkey boys.
Yeah.
we
Oh my
love
God,
them.
those guys.
They took they took me to another place. Those cats.
That's what one of the things that I was thinking about while we were talking is like bluegrass music takes you into a space. It makes you feel like you're going somewhere with it
because of that beat.
Like it's
that driving. It's that drive.
Yes, that and so it's one of those things you like it with Rumpke. We were talking about them, like they took us to this like dark scary little
swamp
place, like at the swamp at the that night set at String Summit, and then when we got there it was so beautiful, like it's like technically amazing, and and then you look at them and they are having the fucking time of their lives. They are just chilling, smiling, or just zoned out or whatever, and just as a patron of festivals, concerts, all that, like for all you guys that do that, thank you so much, like because you really do transport the people. And going back to something you said earlier about letting people cut loose, like that's a big deal. People are all stuffy all week or all month or whatever, and to be able to release and get loose, and you're providing that fun little journey to go on, that is incredible. So thanks for staying consistent and doing stuff and just kind of recreating yourselves through this whole, pandemic thing. So yeah, that's what I had to say to you, Max. Just like kind of more of a listening today, but I just wanted to throw that in there because you guys really do transport, and you certainly did that at Northwest String Summit for us last year. So thanks.
I appreciate it. Yeah, of course.
It's a
there's something about, like we were talking about this at Strings Uncensored, that there's something about like the like we were talking about earlier, like the nostalgia, the kind of old school. There's an old, dirty, gritty background that comes through in bluegrass. It's there. It's like a journey, and it is kind of dirty and gritty, and you feel it and hear it. There's just
light,
nothing
though.
like it.
Dirty, gritty, but like also light
but
and
also
fun. And
you look at Del McCoury's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's real music played by just everyday people. So I think that's kind of that.
People.
It's like it has just like a realness to it. We're working musicians. We got to play gigs to make money. So I think that kind of just comes out. That grittiness probably comes out a little bit.
Yeah, and it's one of the few truly, like you said earlier, American art forms. I think jazz can be considered that, and bluegrass, and I can't really, like, maybe the blues, but beyond that, there's not really much that's like an American thing. And it's cool to see the psychedelic world and the bluegrass world kind of come together, man, in bands like you guys, and give folks that wouldn't normally have entrance into that scene entrance, because I know I wouldn't if it
that's what brought us in.
That's what the psychedelic twist is what brought me in and opened the door. So thanks, man. That's a cool thing that you guys are doing, dude. You're
driving an awesome bus that you let us all jump on.
So,
thanks. Yeah, I mean, we were the first. Got introduced. When I was in high school, I was going to a lot of string cheese shows, and so they have elements, the bluegrass. And then when I went out to Montana, and there's this festival called Big Sky Big Grass, and we went, and I mean, it is just such a good time. The bands all stay in the hotels where everyone else is staying, and so the jams that happen there are just like legendary. They're like, it's kind of like String Summit. I mean, you can go and you can find some of your favorite people play until 4 a.m, and just I remember being in this tiny bar, and the String Dusters were playing, and that it was just like, holy cow, because they can definitely, they jam, they get weird, they get out there, and they're all just insanely good musicians. And it was a similar thing. I was like, okay, this is really something I can get into.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and that's the thing. Like, I guess that's kind of been the theme of this conversation, at least in my head. Like that things that are out there can morph and change and become something different and more beautiful than they were in the beginning. And it's through this weird struggle that we're all going through right now, finding our footing, that's happening, man. And I really, really hope for you guys that this all chills out sooner rather than later, and we can all come back together and be dancing again without a 6-foot barrier between all of us. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what people are. We're social creatures. We want to be up in each other's business.
Yeah, we
Totally,
do.
yeah,
we
we
say
do.
we don't, and then we really do.
Yeah.
Get out of my face, and all of a sudden you're like, well,
I need
I
a
didn't mean
hug.
that.
Well, man, I actually think I might have liked that.
Well, there is encouragement. I mean, we pretty much have seen, and there's not going to be anything huge this year, but I just saw you guys posted it the other day on Instagram that summer camp that they're building up for Memorial Day next year. That just looks like it's going to be amazing. There's so many bands on that bill.
Yeah. Summer camp it's huge. We've been lucky enough to play that a couple times, and it's always a great time. It's such a big festival and so much good music. That was one of the first festivals. I think I went there since I'm from Illinois. I went there my senior year of high school, and it is such a good time. So I hope we can make that one happen.
Yeah. Yes. Hopefully by May. That's
Jesus.
And I hope to be there. We didn't talk about that yet, but like 3 nights at Humphreys Kitchen. I mean, the bill is just insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we take off, I want to ask you one last thing, and if you don't have a memory of it, it's cool. But I have a couple of memories of like concerts that are at the top of my list. Like one is Fish at the Gorge from a couple of years ago, and my first Dead show.
Radiohead at Moda Center.
Yeah, Radiohead too. I gotta throw that in there. But for you, do you have a memory of a favorite concert or a favorite moment at a concert?
It's funny that you said Fish at the Gorge, because that was kind of where I definitely, the first time I went to the Gorge for Fish was, it was an amazing experience. But I mean, I have to keep going with Pink Floyd here.
Do it.
I went and saw David Gilmour I think it was in 2006 at the Rosemont Theater in Chicago, and it just was so incredible. I mean, that was a show where, you know, it's all seated, everyone's sitting down, but I think by the end of the show, my back was pressed into the seat so hard that like you had to pry me off of it, because I was just so floored the whole entire
like the
time.
music was sticking you to the chair.
Oh yeah. I mean, laser beam. It was such a good show, and I mean, it's crazy because, you know, he doesn't tour that much, so to be able to go at that time was definitely a catch.
That answered I was going to ask you earlier too. That the Pink Floyd's one of your favorites. If you ever got a chance, I mean, because like I'm 51, I never got a chance. I mean, there was a couple chances of like they got back together for a minute, or Roger Waters doing this or that, and they are so influential and such a trip.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Aaron, going back to like Echoes and everything. I mean, their catalog is so deep and different, but I never got a chance to see them. And Gilmour, I mean, you're a guitar player. I mean, there's nobody that plays like Gilmour. It's just insane.
They had to peel him off the seat.
Yeah. Sticky to your seat.
You're that dude at the end of the show that's still sitting, and there's like 4 people left in
like
the
the
arena.
Zenith guy.
Yeah. Sir, you need to leave now.
That's rad that somebody or like that a group can influence you that much that's like a stream through your life. Like that's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Right on. Max.
But I mean, the first time we ever went and saw String Cheese that was super impactful. You know, and similar, talking about bands though that you never thought you'd see. I mean, I basically got way into Fish in like 2004. So I was like, oh, this is a band that I'm getting obsessed with that I will never see again.
Oh yeah, that's breaking up or taking a break.
Whoa. Yeah. So that was the first time I was able to see them was a big moment.
Yeah, the Gorge is a very special spot for whatever reason. I don't know if it's the land or
it's the land
or
it's
whatever,
everything.
man. But that place puts the smack down on you for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking amazing.
And when it makes you journey, every time we've gone there a few times, and it's like you got to walk so damn far from the campgrounds, but it's worth it. It makes you earn it. You're like, okay, that was the journey. You know, now here's the reward.
Totally.
Right.
That's great. Yeah.
All right, Max. Thank you, man, for hanging out with us, brother. And for everybody out there, I mean, you want to direct them anywhere or have them go check out anything?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the thing we just released, it's our second Reheated. So that's on all the streaming stuff. It's on Spotify. But yeah, that's our latest recording. And yeah, I mean, we're on Facebook and Instagram and all the like. So we're pretty easy to find on the internet.
Right on, brother. Hey, man, I really hope that next summer we cross paths again and can sit down share a hug and laugh about all this. I really do.
Likewise. Well, thank you so much for having me, and it was definitely a pleasure talking with y'all.
Right.
Yeah,
thanks,
give the rest of the guys our love and appreciation, man, and we look forward to boogieing and seeing you guys live soon.
Yeah, will do. I'll tell them all hello, and hope to see you guys soon.
Cool, man. Have a good day, Max.
All right, you too.
Later,
See ya.
buddy.
Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine. Where have you been? It's all right, we know where you've been. You've been in the pipeline, filling in time, provided with toys and scouting for boys. You bought a guitar to punish your mom, and you didn't like school, and you know you're nobody's fool. So welcome to the machine. you dream. It's alright, we told you what to dream. You dreamed of a big star. He played a mean guitar. He always ate at the steak bar. He loved to drive in his Jaguar. So welcome
The kitchen dwellers.
Max.
They be dwelling in kitchens.
Well, that's how they started out.
Okay,
he
so-
almost touched on it, but it was one of those things. We don't.
I'm not going to ask that.
Tell us about.
Look, stop thinking that anything's cheesy.
That's
can
true.
ask anything.
I feel cheesy.
Sometimes it's appropriate, and sometimes it doesn't make sense because you already know, or it's a big like.
And sometimes it's cheesy when it's not a good story. That's kind of cool. Like they started out playing in kitchen. That's where they, like he said, they couldn't facilitate a drum set and stuff. So you kind of go a different angle, and you can 4 dudes on acoustic instruments. You can hang out in the kitchen and jam.
Yeah, that's true.
awesome.
I'll kill it.
I guess that is the genesis of bluegrass music is Hank with his banjo and Carl with his fiddle and
sitting on the patio,
Big Mike with his
Unwinding
washboard
from their
and,
week, their day, whatever.
drinking moonshine, getting busy. Yeah, I mean, and I think
Simple.
that is the gritty side that you're talking about. Comes from that.
You were talking about the gritty
that
side.
hard working, the working class. It's working class, like rock. It was the working class guys that they're the
Getting
ones
down.
that say, get off work, have some drinks with your buddies.
Seeing-
then poor old Bob though, I bet Bob had a drum set, and they're
like,
like,
"Get outta here,
he's like,
Bob."
I'm gonna go run home and get my drum set. And by the
Lived
time
too
he got
far.
back, they're like, dude, there ain't no room for you on the patio. Plus, he's thumping on the bass. We got the percussion covered, dude.
It makes me every time I hear like traditional bluegrass music, I don't know where I've seen the image, but it's an older, like backwoods cat from down south wearing overalls with no shoes on, missing teeth, and he's fucking boogieing, like his feet are moving super fast and his hands are going up and down like pistons, and he's doing his. When I hear traditional
I
bluegrass,
feel like there's always a chase when I hear bluegrass, like there's like a bank robber,
or like the moonshiners outrunning the sheriffs or something. I picture that, like the Ozark Mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountain.
That's a trip that music does that. Like I've heard,
sets a soundtrack.
I've heard it said that music is painting with frequencies. And your brain starts to put together images and pictures and sees the music.
Well, how do you know the sound isn't making you put images and pictures together?
I don't.
You don't.
Music is
You just study. It was like both of us look over at Mel like. We're gonna say something.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
We don't. Mel just shut us up.
Yeah, I don't know that, but like we were listening to Kamasi Washington yesterday out on the porch.
Oh my gosh, it was like an anthem.
And Apple was like, "This sounds like a soundtrack," and I was like, "Yeah, it totally sounds like a soundtrack." And then I was reading about the song, and it's like, "This is a redone soundtrack for a Bruce Lee movie." I was like, "So that's a trip, like without words." Without pictures.
It's like theatric.
It conjured up the image of that thing, and it was correct. Like it did what it was setting out to do.
What we were
sonically.
saying, yeah, it did.
Well, think about like when you hear music, sometimes it feels soft. How can sound feel soft on the inside?
Has a feeling. It
That is
produces
weird. Right?
a feeling.
Like, you play
How
like
can it make you angry? Like
yeah.
grungy, like speed metal or something.
That's kind of think about like if somebody goes by with a really loud motor or like nails on a chalkboard or like a squeal or something.
Right.
Those are definitely triggering on a negative. No one likes nails on a chalkboard.
I don't know. No,
even
there is
people who don't
nobody-
hate that,
Yeah,
they
there's
still don't
nobody
like
that-
it.
Hey, could you scratch that chalkboard for me? I really need to hear that right now. No,
But
nobody's
yeah,
saying
I think
that
about
today.
that because
scratch a certain itch.
sound can make you do things instead of like you're thinking, oh, my brain. No, your sound is a motivator on its own because it makes you dance certain ways for certain types of sound.
So check this out.
And for different moods.
Absolutely.
That perception of like, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Like certain songs, like one of them that it just comes to mind, like Smashing Pumpkins. I've always loved that. Like sometimes you could put that on like when you want to kind of wallow in your depression.
Yes.
But then you can put on that same song when you're happy as fuck, and same with the Dead. Like every time it's different. It suits the mood and it changes and you hear different things in it that you never have before with different moods and what your mind is open to.
I guess it makes sense because if you think about the Bible, the first line in the Bible is, "In the beginning was the Word." And the Word is sound. There was sound in the beginning. That was the frequency. The frequency is the thing that created everything. And so it does.
But it couldn't say it because it's not written. So that's why the word is the first thing.
The translation is logos, and logos is like the word, like sound, like boo, like.
But so word and sound are the same.
I don't know.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if sound was first, it can't tell. It can't show us because it's sound.
It's also existing beyond anything, knowing that it's there.
Well, how could sound be first if there was no hearing? Like,
yeah,
something
think about
to receive the sound.
About it.
Did sound make itself hear itself?
When a tree falls,
right. We have
yes, trees.
We're getting deep.
You know, let me just say this:
the branch fell.
Unless you're a logger, how often does the average everyday person see a tree fall? Like,
see it or
couple
hear
of times
it.
in your life, maybe. Yeah.
Really? In your life?
Maybe. I don't know. I've seen 1 or 2 trees fall in my life, other than through my own volition.
It's just strange because I feel like I've seen and been a part of lots of tree falling since I've moved here. Do you remember our house in Vegas?
There's lots of trees.
Yeah, you had a big ass tree come down
I've
on
had
your
lots
house.
of trees fall around me in my life. Thinking
and your point
more than the other. I was just thinking about that branch that fell yesterday. You were talking about if a tree falls, does it make whatever that's saying? Does it make a sound? Well, yes, because that branch was loud. Like it sounds like a bone breaking.
Yeah, it's a gnarly
It's
sound.
sad.
They've been taking down some trees here in our neighborhood lately. They're clearing more space on the hill.
Now you're all
and
caught up
it sounds like a giant. Like being slayed, like you hear this.
It's like an earthquake.
It's painful. It's a painful sound.
Yeah,
was
it's
that?
true. Well, I
don't know.
Huh? Your phone just fell on the ground.
That was weird.
It was a tree coming down in the studio. Well, that's the thing too. I mean, we were not in Vegas, but up here we are around a lot of tree. I mean, imagine like if you live in Brooklyn or something, you know, often have a chance to see a tree fall.
There's something to be said for being in nature. Like I don't remember which one. I think I was saying it to you. Like when you're around a lot of trees or in a jungle or a forest or around a river, there's a feeling that's there. There's a vibration that comes from being in nature. And when those big freaking trees fall, it hurts.
Yeah.
The
Remember
sound
when I
is
cried
not
the first time I saw all those logging when we were going to the ocean? I cried at all the trees. I'm like, why would someone do this? Because it looked like a boneyard.
Yeah,
it looks exactly, but you don't think about that unless you see them very often. And so when you see a lot of trees that are just decapitated and their sad little bones are everywhere, it makes me sad.
Well, now you're all caught up in logging in our neighborhood.
I don't know why we got on this.
I like that we got off on trees and nature.
Max, thanks so much for spending time with us.
Far out.
Yeah,
Kitchen dwellers, you guys rock.
Yeah.
Thanks for being innovative too with how you are putting your music out.
Keeping it real.
Yeah, keeping it real and keeping it relevant
and keeping it fun. I was gonna say keeping it fun for not just for us. I mean, it wouldn't be fun unless you guys were having fun and you guys on stage. There ain't no way not to have fun.
Yeah. So much love from the No Simple Road crew to the Kitchen Dwellers.
When you guys come out with something new, hit us up. We'll have you back on. We love you guys. We'll be back next week with more stuff and things from the studio here at No Simple Road headquarters. And
sound.
You know what? We love you.
Yes, we do.
Take care of each other. Safety third. Hydrate. Smile at a stranger and wash your hands. And your clothes. You haven't done laundry in like 2 weeks. It's time for you to do laundry. I'm just telling you right now.
And
Stop talking to me like that, Aaron. I was going to do it after.
Oh, my God. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to him right there. All right, you guys.
Dance like everybody's watching and don't give a fuck.
Like a snake is trying to grab your foot.
Yeah.
See you next week.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a new born. So persistent, so resistant, so well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.